It's Operation Babble with Myke Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Operation Babble, episode 137. How you all doing? How you doing today, Tivis?
Yeah, I've been better.
Awesome. Before we get started on anything, we want to first say thank you all for listening. Secondly, I want to say check out our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Or no, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Operation Babble. To find us, follow us, see what crap we're posting. We finally got the Instagram set up, so pictures are going live there constantly. Hopefully, we'll get more stuff on there. That's not just our posters and stuff like that. Also, you can email us at operationbabble@outlook.com. And if you have any questions, if you want to join the show, anything like that, if you want to tell us we suck, you can always do that. And then lastly, if you want to see our pretty ugly faces, you can go to the Myke Shrews YouTube channel and watch Operation Babble there. So yeah. And with that said, we forgot to say something last episode. I forgot to say something last episode.
Excuse me, Mr. Producer.
In regards to what we're doing the next two episodes here, since we have Multiverse of Madness coming up in a few weeks, I decided we're going to do as Tivis wrote, the road to Multiverse of Madness. Please don't sue us, WWE. So we're doing Doctor Strange multiverse movies, and this week we are going to talk about the 1978 Doctor Strange film that a lot of people do not know about, and we will be talking about a special movie I will tell at the end of the show next episode. So with that said, let's dive into this episode. I know Tivis has some things on his chest that he wants to get off real quick.
Yeah. Well, it's just a little, I finally saw Batman now that it's on HBO Max.
Awesome.
Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I would love to talk about that with you, but we'll say that for another episode. Plus, you and Mosier still haven't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we all know. Also, did you hear about Ezra Miller? He's in trouble yet again
For the umpteenth time.
Yeah, and apparently I'm in trouble for talking about how much of a hole they are, because they need some help. Which, yes, they do. They really do. But that doesn't excuse their behavior. They're still accountable for their own actions, and we need to get away from that excuse.
Yeah, I'm tired of that excuse showing up for people all the time. Like, oh, they have something. It's a mental illness, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't give you
my mom takes medication for her bipolar, which is real bad. You know what she's never done? She's never threw a chair at someone. She hasn't choke slammed anyone.
I can't say that about my mom.
Like, I know a lot of people with a lot of different medical conditions, mental, stuff that they take medicine for. None of them have been violent.
Well, we saw it too with the same stuff that happened at the Oscars. Everyone is saying, "Oh, he's not mentally."
Yeah. Will Smith, poor him. He's going through a lot. So is Chris Rock. He's got depression and everything else. So, everyone has shit they're going through.
It doesn't make it okay, and people should like. I saw something that you had posted. I don't know what the actual context of everything was, but you said that people were attacking you for supposedly bashing Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
I know you don't really bash people. Like,
no, I will talk negatively when it's deserved.
Well, as far as the internet goes, I don't see you as a basher, honestly.
Basher for likes, no less. I could give two shits about how many likes I get.
But
if someone does something they need to be called out for, I'll call them out.
But you will get that no matter what from a specific group of people that just are fans of Ezra, because the same thing happened with the choke heard around the world. Like, you know, a lot of people were just automatically, oh, it was an April Fool's gag. What the fuck, are you serious? Like, come on. Like, it was if it was an April Fool's gag, it was a poorly done April Fool's gag, and it was not something that should have been done in the first place.
Another person that people pull this shit for, Kanye. That dude has severe problems. He needs to get help, but he's also a piece of shit, and that's the reason he needs to get help. I don't believe anyone is beyond a course correction in their life. I don't pay
attention to a lot of these people, their personal crap that's going on.
Yeah,
I really just focus on a lot of their entertainment value stuff. But Ezra Miller,
which for me is still zero from him, but
yeah, I guess. But Ezra's made it a point to it spring up in my radar because I have kids, and I know it's one of those points that people are like, oh, you can't put that on an actor. When an actor takes a role as a superhero, they do have a little bit more responsibility, I feel, than anything. Just being an actor in general, you have not
morality clauses.
I shouldn't say an actor. When you're in the spotlight, you should have more responsibility. You automatically have a responsibility. Am I saying that being an actor is the same thing as being a police officer and they should be better? No, I'm like, everyone should just be good, you know?
Yeah. Everyone should be decent to each other. Don't throw chairs at people's heads for being asked to leave a house party.
Now, see, with that though, too, I heard that and I'm like, I wonder if he just threw the chair and it accidentally hit the person, which I could see happening.
It doesn't matter. You don't throw a chair at being told to leave.
I mean, I've been at a few parties where people get drunk and they just do stupid shit. But the only difference is one, they weren't just arrested like a couple weeks ago.
And
well,
not only that,
sometimes
there's reports that there's been 10 reported incidents with Ezra.
And the other is, you know, the people that I know that have done stupid crap like that in the past, or I was at parties and they did shit like that, people that I didn't even know, they're not held to a higher, you know, standard. And people are automatically going to say, well, we shouldn't hold them to a higher standard, which I call bullshit, because we're putting them in that pedestal to be, you know, not icons. What's the word?
Role models.
Role models. Yes. Thank you. Like even Robert Downey Jr. had some issues, but he is
course corrected now.
Yeah. Which is awesome that we are talking about this, because I'm going to course correct into our movie that we have, because our movie actually deals a little bit with mental illness and stuff. So, which is awesome.
A little bit. Yeah.
So I find it to be a really good category to just dive right into this movie, because as I said at the beginning of the show, 18 minutes ago or so, we watched Doctor Strange, the 1978 version of this movie. And Tivis, where did you watch this at? Because I know
I was on Daily Motion.
Okay. So you watched it on Daily Motion. The only reason I know of this movie is I came across it from a guy I bought some stuff from. I got the DVD from Shout Factory from him. It is not rated, and it is remastered from the original film elements. So there's a lot of stuff in here that looks really good in comparison.
Now, right off the bat, how was the lighting? Because I could tell you the Daily Motion version, extremely dark and hard to see anything.
Oh, the lighting was fine. The lighting was
okay. So that's something they fixed.
Because I did go back and I watched, not watched the whole thing, but I viewed clips from the Daily Motion version just so I could understand where you might come from for looks, anyways. And yeah, it's 100% different. I might have to get you a copy of this. If people do want a copy of the movie, again, not getting paid for this shit, but they have them on Amazon for like $11.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to get a copy.
It looks 100% better than the Daily Motion. There is like one scene that they do where when they go into it, there was a bunch of shit it clearly looks like was on the lens, or maybe they just couldn't fix the film up at the time when they remastered it. So there is like one scene like that, and then some of the B-roll shots and crap like that aren't perfect, but they're not like faded as hell like they are on Daily Motion, and the audio's fixed up a little bit too. Watching it, I just felt like I was watching, a movie from 1978. Honestly,
yeah.
So
I mean, it's definitely a product of its time, but I didn't think it was. I mean, we watched a lot of Marvel stuff last year, and
like the show, or you personally?
No, us. Yeah, on the show we watched. All the forgotten Marvel movies.
Movies they want you to forget.
Yes, which was a really fun series, 4-part series from us. I recommend, if you missed it, go check that out.
Yeah.
It actually seemed like it had better. I don't know. There's like parts of it that I feel like was better than Fantastic Four, and other parts of it that I think Fantastic Four did better.
So I can tell you right now, because I looked into this movie a bunch, and I read some interviews for the guy who plays Wong, and because I was surprised that they had so many actual Marvel characters in the film, honestly.
Yeah.
But the Clyde Kusatsu played Wong. And he's still alive too. So hey, maybe he shows up in Multiverse.
That'd be cool.
The guy who plays Doctor Strange, Peter Hooten, is still alive as well. So I would really enjoy that. There's actually a rumor that supposedly will reprise his role in Doctor Strange along with Clyde, but
I think those rumors sprung out of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which
so
at this point, anyone who is a previous actor could appear at any point. Doesn't mean they're going to, be a variant.
There was one article I read for Multiverse of Madness. Like, it wasn't even an article. It was just a list of like Triple H from Blade Trinity is going to show up in this. like what? Like random ass characters from everything. Like, it's just going to show up. Which, I mean,
this isn't anything new. We saw Lou Ferrigno as the police officer in The Incredible Hulk back in 2008.
Well, no, this was supposed to be like his same character. Blade is what it was.
I'm not sold on that.
And when I looked at it, like, it was breaking down everybody, like, and I'm like, okay, the only possible way I could see that happening is if they're taking clips from all of the Marvel movies and like putting them on like a giant, like, here's like the Matrix room screen, like here's all the different versions of, things, which, I mean, that would be kind of cool to see them do that. Ninja Turtles did it first in Turtles Forever though. So
well, one of the characters we got in this was Morgan Le Fay, which anyone who's watched all of the MCU stuff will recognize her from The Runaways season 3.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see her. And do you know the actress Jessica? Are you a fan of Archer?
Not a fan of Archer, but she was the mother in Arrested Development.
Well, she was. She's also the mom on Archer.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yeah, Mallory.
Yeah. But she does play Morgan Le Fay, who is also really good. Like, Scarlet Witch is like one of her best villains, I would say. Which would be really cool to see her coming in, not necessarily this version, of course, but like a version of her character showing up in the MCU, which would be awesome. Even if they use the one from Runaways, if they've incorporated it into the MCU. I don't know how incorporated that show is into there.
It's all MCU unless Feige says otherwise, and he has not said otherwise despite people's claims.
Okay. So yeah, that would be awesome to see her show up in the Scarlet Witch movie or show or something.
Another shout out for Big Bang Theory, where she plays Leonard's mom.
Yeah. Yeah. But a little bit history on this movie. So it was aired on September 6th, 1978. The reason they feel that it didn't do so great was it came right after a rerun of ABC's Roots. So, it was opposite. It was airing opposite of the Roots on ABC in 1978. So it was running at the exact same time that Roots was, and Roots was a very big TV movie back then that everyone always wanted to watch. So when you put them up against things like, because this was a CBS show. So they thought that this was going to be a really big thing. And for the time, I would say this would have been an awesome one if it was given the opportunity to play at a different time, not opposite such a big movie. There weren't many channels back then either. So yeah. But they were given a decent budget for this film for 78.
Oh my God, the Nameless one? That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like it's like stop motion, and
it's it looks like it was claymation type almost.
Yes. Yeah,
but
that's what I meant.
At the same time, it looks like maybe it could have been a costume too, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So a couple of things on here that the actor talked about who played Wong. Sorry. They were talking about in the article I'd read. Huh?
Clyde is his name.
Yeah. They were talking about how in the comics at that time in the 60s anyways, the Wong character was very problematic in the way that it was shown in everything in the comics. So with this movie coming out and the way that they adapted Wong was a very big impressive, progressive even treatment that they said that for this character. Because he didn't have like the exotic robes and representing like the mysterious East and stuff like that. And these are exact like comments that this actor has said too. So it was nice for him to be able to play the Asian character without being problematic for him at the time, especially in 1978. So he said that he really enjoyed that. And and yeah, so there's a lot of history on this. And a lot of people think that this movie is very campy. Like I read one review on what is it, Rotten Tomatoes, that was like, it's just cheap movie. Well, no, it's not actually a cheap movie for some people. This movie was pretty expensive and they were trying to stay in budget even with the special effects they were doing and stuff at the time. And for a made for TV movie, it's actually really pretty good cinematically, like production wise and stuff like that. I do you have anything to say on production value? Well, I mean, I know you saw the version that wasn't, but
I actually thought it was really well done for its time. Like you could see some of the inspiration that they may have taken for the 2016 version, especially when he gets sent into the astral plane. I'm like, whoa, that is straight. Oh my God. Who's the artist? Is it Ditko?
Ditko was behind Strange.
Yeah. That like straight Ditko for the 70s. And you could really I would find it extremely hard to believe if they did not take some inspiration from this movie for when Benedict Cumberbatch's version gets flung into the the multiverse type thing that he gets thrown into.
Well, when they have him going through the astral plane in this movie, so we're not going to break this down for everybody. We're just going to talk about it, but there are spoilers, of course.
Oh yeah, it is.
But because I would recommend just watching it yourself too. But the scene where they have him going into the astral dimension is what they call it in this film. It reminded me of like going through the quantum realm almost. That's how I felt about it. It was just like going through a quantum realm. But the one scene where Morgan Le Fay is speaking to the what is it called? The one without a name, or
the nameless one.
The nameless one, yeah.
It's pretty clear it was set up to become Dormammu later if this show got picked up. But
but apparently that's one of the most like fan favorite scenes for this movie. They say because of the cheese factor, but shooting that was very hard and difficult because they were trying to capture it all at once. So because they were trying to get something that couldn't actually be done at the same time. And then so there was a scene in this with Wong and Le Fay fighting. And I want to bring this up because he was talking about this in the article I read too. So when they're fighting in I'm gonna forget the Sorcerer Supreme's office. Sanctorum, I guess. Yeah. But it's his office that they're fighting in. After she morphs back from being a cat. They do this shot where there's flames all around him when he's laying down on the ground. And we're supposed to assume he's dead or something. How they did that was they put a ring of rubber cement around the area, which was flammable and it would ignite. So they would ignite it and then he would lay down in place, and they shot it like that. So it was actual like fire and stuff like that. It wasn't just like digitally enhanced or anything. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I'm trying to make sure I get everything from the article that I found was really awesome about it.
I think some of the fights as well, like by today's standards, they're kind of lackluster, but like you're thinking back in 78, some glowing lights and stuff. It makes a lot of sense, especially the final confrontation with Doctor Strange. Like you get the glowing hands, which very similar again to the 2016, rings that we get. So I have to wonder how much inspiration did this actually, give?
Apparently, Benedict Cumberbatch did speak with the guys, some of the people that worked on this movie.
Oh, that doesn't shock me. He's a really professional guy. Yeah. He takes his stuff serious.
Well, there's a few scenes too when they first introduce Stephen Strange in this movie where I'm like, they kind of resemble each other in a way.
Kinda. How did you feel about the change from surgeon to a shrink, not shrink, but like a psychiatrist type doctor?
I think it fit for this movie. I was wondering where it would go moving forward with
I think it could have worked well with a TV show because you could get, again, Dormammu is in another plane that can be reached through, sleep and stuff. So you can get people being tormented.
Yeah.
It could be a running thing.
So the director got John Mills is the actor who plays the Sorcerer Supreme. Actually, Oscar winner.
You mean Thomas Lindmer, the Sorcerer Supreme?
Sure.
I noticed he wasn't called the Ancient One in this one.
No. He was already really old.
Yeah, he was. He mentions he's several hundred years old.
Yeah. And I'm trying to see if there's one last thing on here. Because of the time frame I mentioned, them running up against Roots. The reason why they think that this failed because it was set up to be a really cool idea, I think, for the 70s, late 70s for sure.
For a TV show, like That makes some of the stuff they did even more impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And the guy said that them running nights, you have to win the night basically for you to get picked up. And because they ran against a rerun, which is bullshit, they kind of lost out because everyone wanted to watch Roots. I mean, even nowadays when Roots comes on, people still want to watch it. So, yeah. So they lost out because of that fact. And then the guy also said that he closed with I don't think the public was ready for that kind of otherworldliness. If you looked around that time, if you looked at the old Hulk thing, it was pretty primitive, says Kusatsu, but we did the best we could without a lot of green screen, CGI, and all that stuff. It was a great experience.
This was the 70s. People were still hyped up on drugs. This probably spooked some people.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have for that section of that interview and stuff like that. I just wanted to point out some of those really cool aspects and shit like that. And I did notice, I looked through IMDb too, but Balzaroth is a made up character for this specific movie. I couldn't find anything on him anywhere, which is one of the demons, the demon on the horse, basically. He is played by Lurch from the Addams Family.
Really?
Yeah. Mr. Cassidy.
Michael and Sarah. No, that's the ancient one.
Yeah.
Ted Cassidy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. He passed away about a year after this movie came out, so maybe it just killed him.
Well, that's bleak. That's a dark comment.
Yeah. Anyways, so what do you got on for this, man? Like, what do you want to talk about on this? Since I just want to get some of that information out so people understand it. I feel this should be a good piece of Marvel history that Disney should, embrace, honestly, because it's not horrible. And from being from the 70s and a pilot basically for a TV show, I think
that would mean they would have to fork money over to Universal to get it. So who knows?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
But, if I'm putting it on the list with the other 4 that we watched last year, I would probably put this one on the bottom, but that does not mean I didn't enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was supposed to be a pilot. Knowing that changes my whole perspective on it. Because at the time I'm like, we are 50 minutes into this and he is just now meeting the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
I thought the 2016 movie had a slow buildup. Holy cow. What did you think about him getting his kind of iconic look through the powers of Morgan, trying to convince him to turn to the side of evil so that she could sleep with him?
I thought it was interesting. I'm glad they changed it. Sort of. I think that what he gets later is kind of worse. It's kind of more of like a Power Rangers outfit for Doctor Strange than anything. I honestly thought, knock a few gold chains off of that and just keep the amulet and he would have been golden, man. With the look of it. It's hard to say what they were planning long term for the look. Maybe that's why they went with the more spandexy like suit towards the end with it once he became Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What did you think? Because this was a problematic thing I had with this film here. Where is it? Enchantress, blah blah blah. So she says to the unnamed one the line, "I am still but a woman."
Yeah, that made me cringe. I'm like, that is not Morgan.
I was like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be a very strong female character from the comics even. and on top of that, she's just like, I am still but a woman. I am attracted to him. I want him to be mine. I am like, what the fuck? Like, I looked at my wife and I was like,
Which,
what the fuck did she just say?
you know, I could believe it from the character, but it wouldn't make her become as soft as she is. Like, she would be straight up trying to kidnap him, not just, I'm going to let him go about his business while I stare at him from afar. Because she is hidden like throughout this entire film, almost in the background of many scenes, which is a cool touch. And it's I don't know, that line in particular kind of just like
it took me out, but then I was like, oh wait, no, this is like what her whole premise is about. I was like, oh no, why are we doing this?
Like, it would have been different if she said something along the lines of, I'm going to make him mine,
right?
And he will serve you alongside me.
Yeah.
But that line, the way it was said, really brought the character down.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff with the lead, the love interest, Clea, she I'm not exactly sure what to think about her, because I'm like, she was used by Morgan and then that put her life in danger they did not explain very well why.
So what it was is, so Morgan got in her head.
Yeah. And
then what that did was take her consciousness and push it into Morgan's realm. I am assuming from what dimension. The movie showed. Yeah. But the thing that confused me is, after she is done using her, she comes back into consciousness enough to know where she lives even, but then she goes to the hospital and doesn't know her name even. So I'm like, wait, what? What? That doesn't make sense. And then okay. Yeah, she's just a weird one. I think they just needed a damsel in distress type thing.
And I don't understand the rival antagonist kind of Frank, the doctor who goes behind Steven's back to drug her, even though he's like, they're under strict thing, like, keep her awake. She's afraid of falling asleep. I'm going to make her face her fears. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, what a dick.
Just something that I've seen, you see it in a lot of like movies that deal with like psychiatric hospitals and shit like that too.
Yeah.
You always have that one asshole doctor. I mean, at least he didn't try and drug her and rape her, so that's always a bonus.
Played by Philip Sterling, who was in he was Ronald Pratt in The Death of the Incredible Hulk, so he's no stranger, to comic stuff. But also, I thought he did a great job in his role. Yeah, I hated him. So
there's a scene, and I found this interesting because there's little like Easter eggs almost. Mm-hmm. You had the Hulk comic book show up in Doctor Strange's office.
Oh yeah.
And then they on the TV, the Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein was on.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's ironic.
So that was pretty cool.
Us watching Monsters.
Yeah. What did you think about them using the name Enchantress for her at first?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, to me, I don't know her character as well as other people might. Mm-hmm. So to me, it doesn't really fit what I have in my head of her.
Right.
And the stuff, the small things I have seen or read. So I think it may be just a throwaway line because, Marvel character, but
yeah,
I don't know. It
seems pretty accurate, like how well they do the Marvel references in this, I guess, are pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's something that we've made note of a lot in these older stuff, like with Fantastic Four and especially Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were not afraid to throw in references
and the character polls and stuff, like a lot of these older ones did, which was awesome. I really appreciate when you see the older stuff doing that, and then you watch the newer stuff, and you're like, they're replicating what the older stuff still did, just slowly. So because the older stuff never knew if it was going to last after the first one, so. Yeah.
Where did this take place? Do you know? Was it New York?
It was New York. You saw the Twin Towers multiple times. Now
the giant Sony sign. Did you see that?
No, I did not. I did not see it. But yeah, they used the backlot at Universal to shoot it on, but the landscape, the B-roll and all that stuff, the B footage was New York, because you see the Twin Towers multiple times in this. And
I honestly thought it was a really good setting for, the little urban area that his Sanctum Sanctorum is like kind of around on the outskirts of New York a bit. Yeah. It fit that very well to me. And I actually enjoyed the look of the Sanctorum as well. The outside, I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was an actual building or a model. I'm guessing a model.
Well, if you look at 22 Bleecker Street on Google, it's like that neighborhood, bro. It's not like what Doctor Strange's Sanctorum is in the MCU.
No, his is more downtown in the MCU, but
yeah,
like some of the stuff that I've seen in the comics, he's got like small houses. His area reminds me more of like Spider-Man's like type neighborhood.
Yeah.
Rather than being around the big businesses and stuff.
Right. But yeah, I enjoyed the scenery. I thought they did a really good job of it, and we get a lot more walking. There's not a lot of characters driving cars, which is nice, because why would you? You're in New York. It's going to take you 5 hours. And I did appreciate, this is something, a behind the scenes fact, because they were shooting on the backlot a lot in Universal. Well, Universal has always done the backlot tours. And when they would come by, it would always annoy the filmmakers and actors and shit like that, because you got to stop filming, blah, 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 whatever. Apparently on this set, these guys loved when the tours came by, and they would wave, they'd take their time and wave to everybody and shit like that. And then they would go back to shooting. From what I read, they seemed like one of the few TV sets that weren't annoyed by the tours, which is really cool. You think about it, because they all look like they enjoyed doing what they were doing here, honestly. And everything I've read about the making of this, no one has complained about the making of it process. So they all seem to enjoy it, which is awesome, because you would hope that if you're going to end up doing more episodes later on, supposedly, you'd enjoy doing it. So yeah. I'm really interested to see what this could have become later down the road, if they would have kept doing it. So maybe it could have been really cool.
It's another one of those missed opportunities, much like the Nick Fury or the Generation X or Mutant X or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Yep. One line I did like in this is when the Supreme is talking to Wong after Wong makes him breakfast from an injury. So Wong makes him some breakfast and stuff, and the Supreme walks in there and he's like, "Wong, you are my pupil and my friend. You are not a servant." I love that they toss that line in there for that time period too, because it shows that they are equals. They are not, we are equal is basically what he's saying. We are not one over the other, which is awesome. Yeah. And then Wong's like, shut up and eat. Like, that's what he did. I was just like, awesome. Because there is a big thing in this movie where Doctor Strange or Stephen Strange makes it a point to say, I am nobody is my master. I do not use the term master and shit like that. Just to try and give like a little bit of the division between him and the Supreme, because there was always some type of division between them. You know, it wasn't just always kosher and he did whatever, you know. Even with the new movie, there was some type of distraughtness with within Doctor Strange versus the ancient one. So,
dude, okay. I'm just reading something right now.
Okay.
So the film, you know, like we said, shot in Universal lot in LA. It went over schedule because of special effects.
Yep.
The friend of the director and composer for this, Paul Churian, was encouraged to produce an electronic score for it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the score was great. I loved the music in this, especially Morgan's theme.
Yeah. But you didn't like the music in the DVD screen when I sent it to you.
No, that annoyed me. That was a poor choice. Of all of the sounds in this,
Yeah,
I would have went with Morgan's theme myself, because that one, that I could listen to that one on repeat.
Yeah. And I liked whenever they went to Morgan's, like the dark dimension or whatever they want to call it. Every time they were there, it made me feel more like a Flash Gordon type thing. So I was like, dude, this could have been like a Flash Gordon almost. Like you have your different dimensions that he could go to and do his battles in. And then on Earth, he's just his normal psychiatrist doctor self. It's like that could have worked out a lot, you know, very well. It would have cost a fortune because they kept doing, you know, graphics and stuff like that all the time. But I think it could have really been cool. Yeah. It makes me want to see more. Did you
even Stan Lee talked highly of this show as well.
Yeah. It's actually really good. Like I've heard of like some of the people I know that have watched it. When I showed it to them, I was like, dude, did you ever see this? And they're like, oh yeah, I don't remember that being good at all. And I watched it. And of course I watch a lot of old things. And I watch a lot of like B movies and shit like that. And I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking time period too. Not just, you know, compared to the new Doctor Strange, whatever.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking like Starsky and Hutch, things from that same era. Like this was on par or even better than a lot of stuff that was out back then. And it's truly a shame that it wasn't picked up. And I could understand why the director, Philip DeGuere.
I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, so well, you know, he was crushed when it tanked. Man, it's just, out of all of the things that we've seen, like as far as for potential for a TV show, if I was going to rank what we've watched, and that this would be at the top of the list. I would love to see what came after this. Ow, cat.
Yeah.
I agree. No, you're not doing that.
Oh, Tivis's cat's attacking him.
If you want to step up and claw my leg, you do that. You're not attacking my feet.
All right. Well, I do agree with you, man. Like there's a lot of potential here, and for the time, I thought it was really good. Too bad it didn't get like a massive push from the studio later down the road. Even
you know,
like they could have released this. Like you say, it didn't do good on TV. Whatever. You could have released it in some facet, and then been like, watch it grow, because it does have somewhat of a cult following now, I believe. Most things do. Most of the old like
it's truly a shock that this isn't more promoted by Marvel, because it is not bad.
It's not bad
by any stretch of the imagination.
And there's so many elements too taken from it for what we have as in the Doctor Strange movie.
It's total BS. They did not give it a second chance with airing it on a different day.
Yeah.
They should have gave it a second chance. They really should have, because
I think that's what the downfall to a lot of these were, is like they didn't give them more than one chance to air. Like I believe even when we watched Generation X, I think that one aired once and that was it.
Yeah.
And then Fantastic Four never got a release. Like you had to find that like either in the convention circuits or online. And then
I still crack up at that scene with Doctor Strange, or not with the Doctor Doom, where they escape. And he comes,
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
And then like Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., that one I think had the most because that was on TV multiple times, I feel, back in the day. It had David Hasselhoff, so of course they were going to do something with it. What was the other one we watched?
Fantastic Four, Nick Fury, Gen X, and oh my god,
man. Yeah, I
gotta look it up now.
It was a DC one, I believe.
Oh, Justice League.
Justice League, Justice League of America, which was another movie that they shot for a pilot as a TV show. So a lot of these like Marvel things were shot, they're movie length things, but they were all shot as like pilots for shows. And I feel like, there's some potential if they would have stuck with it. But again, that was before the comic book, rage went around. I think we have to thank The Flash in the late 80s, early 90s for pushing more comic book stuff. And then, of course, you can definitely thank Blade for pushing more content as well, especially for Marvel. I think Blade saved Marvel, honestly. So, anyways, there's a thing that happens here in the hospital, and I wonder if you noticed it because I did. What does the Supreme do when he's walking through the hospital? What is he doing?
He's using like Jedi Force manipulation.
He's like Jedi mind tricking the shit out of everybody.
I did. I watched this with Victoria actually. And I'm like, what? He's some kind of Jedi now?
It's Obi-Wan. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And that was like one of my last notes I had in my notes anyways, as far as things I noticed throughout the show, throughout the movie. What did you think of the rant? Like, it's hard to explain it. There was some weird stuff going on in this movie.
There were. It was definitely
as good
a trip.
as much as I liked it, there was still some weird stuff going on. There was a lot of character development before story with this one for sure. Like Dr. Stephen Strange, you get a lot of him, a lot more feeling with him than you do of anything, because like you said, it's like 40-50 minutes until he even meets the Supreme, and now I want Supreme pizza. And it was crazy. I was like waiting, and then like when it got to the end and they show Faye or LaFay on the TV, I was like, wait, how much longer does this have? Because I forgot too, as I was watching it, even though I knew going into it, it was a pilot. I forgot that it was a pilot. And I was just like, wait, what's going to happen? Like, how much is going to go? And then they end it. And I was just like, wait, what? I want more. Like, show me, give me more, man.
Yeah, they do a great job with the setting things up for future. Like it's just,
my question is like, because I want to know, I was like, how did she get back? How did she not get her beauty back? How did all these things happen? Like, I want to know, man. I want to know. And then they do like the Superman like exit as Doctor Strange is walking into the camera, and that's when you cut to the credits.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they should have had him like morph into his suit or something. Like just like ping, like a star ray or whatever, and then his suit's on.
Yeah, there's some things I would,
Oh, go on, talk, man, talk. Like,
there's some things I would have liked to have seen a little different. Like, obviously, so there's a lot of limitations with the technology back then, but more accurate costume would have been great to see.
Yeah.
A reference to his necklace, which has become a huge deal with the recent movies, with it being an infinity stone and all that, or gem.
Now,
depending on what you prefer to say.
There was a scene at the beginning where they show like a gem or something in a case, but then they don't show it ever again. And at the very beginning, my kid was watching with me. He's like, "Is that the Eye of Agamotto?" I'm like, "Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out." But they never go back to it because it was like a gem inside like a nice like casing that was on display. So I was assuming that was something that would come into play later down the road, maybe.
Yeah. There's so much in this that's just like, I kind of want people to just experience, but at the same time, I'm like, we're supposed to be talking about it.
Yeah.
And, I want to go back to when she possesses Clea, though. And she confronts Thomas, the Sorcerer Supreme, on the bridge. It's just like, "Hey, die." Throws him over the edge. And we keep getting new shots of that scene throughout the movie. And it's just, they zoom in on him like, "Ah!" And her like, "Ah."
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but so funny. And it works really well with the world they're building. I just got to keep going back to Morgan. Like, her characterization was really, I would have loved to have seen them do a better job with her if this had continued on.
Right. Yeah. So Stanley said Doctor Strange, this version would have done much better than the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he believed that. He also talked about how enjoyable he found this and Hulk compared to Captain America, which was, I think he said, disappointing, and Spider-Man, which he called a nightmare.
Well, the Spider-Man thing, I think, was the stuff from Japan, correct? Or was
there was also that live action
CBS
60s show.
Okay, so that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah, and then I think he was pretty stellar about the Japanese one, because he wanted to bring power. He was the one who wanted to create Power Rangers.
Okay, which that Japanese Spider-Man is. It's a Sentai Spider-Man.
Actually, he created the Zords. Stan Lee is responsible for us having Zords.
Nice. But yeah, there's the Spider-Man one, and then the 2 Captain America movies that were made for TV in the 70s, where he rides his bike. There's actually 3 Captain America movies. I don't know if people know that, before the Chris Evans ones. I actually have all 3 on DVD. Maybe we'll watch those as another movies they want you to forget thing. So yeah, I don't know what else to say really about the movie, because I don't want to like go beat for beat or anything like that with it.
Yeah, I didn't take well enough notes for that at all. In fact, I have no notes. I just watched it the other day, so it's fresh. But
it does look. Yeah. So if people look at the poster, because like I know my DVD that's next to me that I was showing on the camera.
That is a much cooler poster, I think, than the one that I've seen forever.
Yeah, the one that they have on everything, most places, it looks like Doctor Strange the porno. Almost. It's like
it's very reminiscent of like covers you would see on blaxploitation type things.
Yeah.
And so, which is very much of that era. Yeah. So
I agree with that. So what did you think of the design of the Sanctum Sanctorum?
Like I said, the exterior I thought looked awesome. The inside kind of just looked like a library pretty much, which I guess makes sense given, it's supposed to hold the knowledge of magic and stuff. Which,
what was this building like? I'm assuming this is supposed to be an old building because they used a lot of stucco on the walls to make it look like, old. It looked like at first I was like, oh, they're in a cave, and then I realized
that's a good description.
Well, at first I thought he was supposed to, like, Wong walks down this hallway to get to the Supreme's room, and I was like, okay, so it's underground, they're in the cave. But then I realized the walls are everywhere in that house the same. So I was like, oh, that's not right. But yeah, the outside of the house, I enjoyed the appearance of that. They have, the glass window. Dude, the references to the comics are really good in this. Like, if people just like references and can stand, I guess, older content, I would definitely recommend this. I know there's a lot of people 100%. Out there that can't watch old stuff because they're, whiny babies.
Weird. You just reminded me with talking about the stained glass. How did you feel about Doctor Strange kind of being a turned into like this was his fate because of the ring that his father gave him?
I found it interesting, but I didn't hate it. It was a different thing because it was like, okay, so his father knew the Sorcerer Supreme. His father knew of the stuff, and I guess it was like Doctor Strange was born to be the chosen one. He was Neo. He was he was all those things. Like, he was born for the role.
Which but makes me wonder if. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Well, I was going to say, I wonder if this was influenced by Star Wars in more than just the whole Jedi mind trick, get in the hospital thing with the whole, I knew your parents type deal.
Right.
Like, was there more to that story that would have
Obi-Wan Kenobi?
that would have been uncovered?
Right. I do find it, it's good. I liked it. But, some people will be like, well, that's not the right way. But if you look at, like, how we have, say, for the MCU version, I'm not talking the comics on this one now. But compare it to the MCU Cumberbatch version. It's like she knew he was going to be the Sorcerer Supreme eventually. So
we find that out when they go back in time with at Endgame.
Endgame, yeah. So it's like she knew that it was going to be. So it was like fate. It's like fate. Uh-huh. So I would say this is just another way of them saying it's fate.
Which we know that she used the time stone to look into the future anyway. So she cheated.
Right. But it's still fate.
Yeah.
You can't change time. You can only course correct, I guess.
Yeah, it's a shame Dr. Fate is a DC character. Yeah. But Dr. Fate Strange, or Strange Fate, which one is it? The amalgamation?
Oh, I don't remember what they did when they mixed them. But yeah, I didn't have an issue with it as much as, like,
Strange Fate. Yeah.
Mainly my issue, I didn't have an issue with it because I was like, we're changing stuff all the time in the MCU world of how the characters come
all
about.
The time.
So anybody who watches this and they're gonna go and that's what they're gonna nitpick, I'm like, y'all have some issues. Like, there's some other things you could nitpick, like, I'm just but a lady line. Like, that should be thrown out.
Oh man,
leave it in for the movie because you need it for this movie because of how they change her character. But it was just so, like, how degrading would that have been for that actress to say, I'm just but a woman. He is so attractive. I want him. I need him. I cannot kill him. I want his, psychiatrist penis in me right now.
I thought you had stopped yourself, but nope, you just wanted more descriptors. All right. Yeah, I should have known. I don't care about changes like that. I found it interesting that they went that route, and that actually makes me curious how much of this was influenced by Star Wars a bit, because was it 78 At least one of them was out. I
Right
can't remember when
after
Empire came out.
first. It would have been right after first or second. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, would they have brought in Mordo eventually, or God, Morgan is honestly the most disappointing thing about this, which is such a shame because they had the opportunity to fix that with more, but is what it is. If you want to see an awesome Morgan, I recommend Runaways, not just because it's a really good show, but I think they do a good job with her character in that final season.
Well, there's the ending with Morgan on the TV. She's like, I don't know, she's like seducing the youth or what, like with the magic that she has. I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, my dogs are barking. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, this is one that I recommend, not just comic fans, but fans of TV and movie creation to go watch, just because of the effects that were used, especially the nameless one. That is the coolest thing. Like, that alone is worth a view.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, like, oh geez, you could tell it was most likely something that was going to be like Dormammu or something.
Oh yeah,
because that's exactly what I thought as soon as I saw him. I was just like, oh, it's Dormammu. They're really pulling like punches and stuff. And because of like the plane that he was on and everything, I was like, there's no way that the creators of the first Doctor Strange movie did not watch this and be like, hell yeah, let's do some of the shit.
100%. Like, the entire time watching this, I'm making connections between this and the 2016 movie.
Oh yeah, easily.
And I'm really, really curious to see what we're watching next to make even more connections.
Oh yeah, the next film to do some connections and stuff, it would be awesome. My dogs are going crazy, man. So
at least they're not clawing you.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I like that the film has so many, or the new ones are taking a lot from this anyways. So it'd be interesting to see what happens if they introduce any of these characters or actors, I should say, in the Multiverse of Madness, since that's what this show is about. It's the lead up to the Multiverse of Madness. So
we have no idea what's going on. They've kept it pretty much under wraps. We are going to avoid, like, we watched the teaser for it, and that's as much as we want to watch. So it's going to be really cool. I'm actually just looking up the actress who played Clea. This was her first movie.
Okay. And she was the one who played the love interest, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
She went on to write Twister.
Yeah, I saw that in her thing earlier.
That's cool.
Yeah. She's also done a bunch of different like horror things and stuff. A lot of these actors actually did a lot of horror stuff. Now, the one that did a lot that people would know is Clyde Kusatsu, whatever. Wong, the actor who played Wong. He was actually in Godzilla in 1996. I had to pull up the movie to find him, like, because I was like, who the hell did he play? He played on the Fisher boat, the captain, basically, the one who's eating food.
Just recently, he was one of the colonels in Skull Island.
Yeah. And he's done a lot of voice work for things that everybody's watched, I'm sure. Like, there's
the English teacher on American Pie.
Yeah. DC content, Marvel content, everything. Like, he's voice acting everything. He's done video game stuff for voice acting. And he's still currently working up to 2021. He was on a TV show. So Monk back in 2016, Charm, the original Charm shit. everything that you can think of. Lilo and Stitch, even he played Mr. Wong on Lilo and Stitch, and Mayor Kim, of course.
Yeah, his career is incredible.
Yeah, he has a lot of work. Dude even was in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Come on now. Batman Beyond, Max Steel, all that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, man, I enjoyed this film. My final thoughts on it, anyways. I would recommend people just watch this if you like comic book movies. I will not recommend it if you cannot watch older stuff. I would also.
What's wrong with you? Go get help.
I would also recommend finding the remastered version, because I watched this version and I felt it was a lot better than like the visuals, anyways, that I was seeing from the Daily Motion.
Having not watched that version, I also recommend that.
Yeah, I know. I was
the
like
Daily Motion one
pictures.
is not great.
Yeah, I was sending you pictures of the TV. I was like, this looks pretty good. Like, so it's a lot better than the Daily Motion version. I do want to give a shout out to the director, Philip DeGuere, I guess, Jr. I'm not going to pronounce his name right. So he went on to do a lot of stuff for JAG, Simon and Simon. I believe he was the creator of Simon and Simon as well. And he did Twilight Zone, a bunch of several episodes of that. And the Whiz Kids, he created that as well. So he went on to do some other stuff, but sadly he did pass away at the young age of 60. So in 2005. So sucks. And he was an Ohio native too, for everyone that's up in Ohio. Cincinnati
Hello,
born.
Ohioan.
Cincinnati,
though.
Ohio, and died in San Francisco, California. Sad. Should have died in Ohio.
That's the fate of most of us.
And then Peter Hooten, who is the star of the film, who played Doctor Strange, has went on to do a bunch of stuff. He hasn't done anything since 2017. A lot of things that he did do were like some horror movies and stuff, but he was Tony in The Inglourious Bastards from 1978 as well. So for anyone who doesn't know, that's the movie that not the other dude's movie. Shit, what's the other one? The Inglourious Bastards. What's that guy's name that did that one? I'm forgetting names. I am so bad today. But yeah, it's not his. It's the 1978 version, not the one with Brad Pitt in it.
IMDb is not wanting to work for me today. I don't understand why. Little fun fact, this movie got its first US home release in kind of celebration alongside Benedict Cumberbatch's premiere.
Oh, nice.
In 2016.
Yep. Quentin Tarantino is the one who did the other Inglourious Bastards.
Well, I'm glad you figured that out, because I accidentally went to the 78 one.
Yeah, the 78 one's actually pretty cool too. I watched that back when I was like 10 or 15. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but it was enjoyable for the time.
What do you want?
And then we already talked about the lead actress as well. Besides the chick who played LaFay, she did pass away sadly. I believe in 2013 it was.
Morgan Le Fay?
Yeah.
No. Or she just passed away last year.
Oh, last year. That's what it was. One of the other actors passed away in 2013. That's what. So, okay.
Yeah.
Apologies for that. So, definitely,
it was a big deal, because I am an Archer fan, and she was a major character in that.
Yeah.
And it's still in production, so they're like, "Oh, we got to give tribute,"
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's all I have for that. Do you have any closing thoughts, man, on your side?
I still think even if you're not a comic fan, you would find some enjoyment out of this just to see the effects and stuff like that. Again, especially if you're more into like the technical, stuff rather than, maybe don't want the best story, which you're not going to get here, but it's an interesting watch. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree. So, go out, find this movie on DVD if you can. Hopefully it'll be on a streamer sometime soon. Maybe if they do get Peter Hooten to reprise his role as Dr. Stephen Strange.
I would love that, honestly.
It would be cool, just even if it was just like a one-time thing, or he could be the older version of Doctor Strange, because we're going to have 500 billion of them most likely in this movie. Anyways, with that said, do you have anything else to say? Whether it's this movie or anything else, man, that you want to talk about today?
I'm just excited for you to announce what we're watching next week.
Awesome. Thank you for reminding me too, because I would have totally forgot again, even though I spent the first part of this going and grabbing the DVD, because I actually have the DVDs for these movies. I found them pretty cheap. This is another movie that you can actually find. It is part of our Doctor Strange, Road to Multiverse of Madness series. It's only a 2-part series, so don't worry. We're not going to watch the 2016 version. Is that what the Benedict one was, right? We're not going to watch that for this because I don't know what I'd say about it, honestly, because I've seen it so many times. It just doesn't have any, extra oomph to it. Maybe after we watch the second one, we can watch and compare. We can maybe do that. Anyways, guys, with all of that, in 2 weeks, we will be watching a film called Dr. Mordred, Master of the Unknown, starring Jeffrey Combs, an awesome actor out there. And there
is a lot of glare.
Yeah, I see that. You can find this film on Amazon for about $7, I believe, is what I paid for it. And there you go. It's done by Full Moon Features, I believe it is. And it might even be on Full Moon Features streaming service if you have that as well.
There is a Blu-ray edition, but it is out of print, so
yeah, it's expensive too.
Yeah.
That's why I got the DVD. And so we'll be checking that out next week if you want to try and find it somewhere else.
I believe it's also available on Tubi if you want to watch it on there.
Okay.
At least that's how I'm going to attempt to watch it. So I hope it's there.
So that's what we're going to be watching next week, man. It is from 1992. So if anyone's out there searching for it, it is 1992 Dr. Mordred, Master of the Unknown, starring Jeffrey Combs. And we will talk about why and everything else. This is part of the Road to Multiverse of Madness. So enjoy that movie watch. And Tivis, how did you enjoy today's episode, my man?
I liked it.
Awesome. With that said, guys, my quote for the day will come from, Doctor Strange, the 1978 film, quoted by Dr. Stephen Strange himself. Here we go. I can't bow my head to any man and call him master. I believe in myself. I take responsibility for myself. And that's it. Peace.
Later.
You just finished another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch every episode of Operation Babble on all your audio streaming services, including SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, and more. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Operation Babble, and join the conversation today by searching for the Operation Babble group on Facebook. Links also in the description. Thanks and have a great day.